Good morning. This is Mila Boschko with the daily report from the Eatglobe newsroom in Varna. Let's start with the news for today. A 12-year-old project of the non-profit organization Pacto das Aguas, with funds from the multinational energy giant Petrobras, has found a way for indigenous and local communities from two western Brazilian states to monetize the Amazon forest while keeping it intact at the same time. Through Brazil nut harvesting. It's a simple yet highly effective idea which helps the indigenous, the local economy, and the Amazon forest all at once. As the melon-sized Brazil nut fruits naturally tumble to the ground during the rainy seasons, locals just have to pick them up and find the buyer who is fairest of them all. However, infrastructure and knowledge matter too. This is why the NGO invested in storage sheds and drying tables and is educating communities on how to best collect, dry, store, and transport the nuts. Since 2003, around 3,500 tons of nuts have been produced in the western states of Mato Grosso and Rondônia through the project, generating an income of about 2.47 million euro for the workers involved. This new large source of income and employment for the locals is helping reduce the exodus of indigenous populations. A similar government project launched last year with the Tinta Larga tribes in the Mato Grosso district also provides locals with industrial machines for oil extraction, while the dried meal left over is made into cookies, noodles, and granola and distributed to local residents struggling with food insecurity. Now to our second news. By 2025, the UK intends to close all its coal-fired power stations. Amber Rudd, UK Secretary of Energy and Climate Change, announced yesterday that primarily gas, followed by nuclear, offshore wind, and solar power will take coal's place. Presently, coal contributes 30% of the UK's electricity generation. By 2025, the main burden to replace coal will fall on gas. New gas-fueled power stations will have to be built and gas imports will have to increase. The second pillar to replace coal will be nuclear, planned to generate 30% of electricity by 2025. Here too, new plants would have to be built. A contract for the first 3 of these plants to be built with Chinese technology was signed during Chinese President Xi's recent UK visit. The remainder is to come from offshore wind, a sector where UK's ambition is to become a world leader, and solar energy. The plan was revealed yesterday, just 12 days prior to the start of the Paris Climate Conference. By being the first country to have declared to close all its coal power plants, the UK is setting a dramatic example for the negotiations in Paris. And finally, newly elected Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, is about to become the darling of mothers and nutritionists across Canada with his push for the introduction of nationwide restrictions on the marketing of unhealthy foods and beverages to children. A similar law already exists in the Canadian province of Quebec, which prohibits commercial advertising directed at children under the age of 13. The law takes into account the nature and purpose of the good, the manner in which it is advertised, as well as the place and time the advertising is shown. This, however, was not the only food-related task Prime Minister Trudeau gave Minister of Health, Dr. Jane Philpott, in his mandate letter to her. He also advocated for new stricter regulations on the use of trans fats, reduction of salt in processed foods, and the labeling of foods, especially those containing added sugar and artificial flavors and colorings. With Trudeau joining the fight against child obesity, the ambitious social agenda of politicians seems to hit home, this time those of Canadians. Thank you for watching. If you would like to find more, please visit eatglobe.com.